No show has made as much of an impact recently than Gen V in 2023. The hit spinoff from The Boys was a highly anticipated addition to the Boys universe, with the setting being a university for supes. As the premise states, Gen V is a story that explores the first generation of superheroes who know that their powers are from Compound V. These heroes are put to test physically and mentally as they compete to be the top ranked student in the school. In my opinion, Gen V was a really fun show to watch, but it was a bit of a mess. Promising storylines didn't lead to satisfying plot points or were squandered by some bad acting. Overall though, the plot of this show has brought about a lot of great content for the Boys universe and was a very fun show to watch from week to week. Now before I delve into the show and my thoughts, I would like to issue a spoiler warning for Gen V and The Boys season 1 to 3, as I'll be delving into many plot points and developments. Gen V and The Boys are super worth watching, so go watch the shows and come back. My expectations for Gen V initially were very mixed, as coming into it, I thought it would be more of a Riverdale-esque teen show mixed in with some of the classic The Boys gore. I was slightly worried that this show would dilute the verse of The Boys, but I was very wrong. The best thing about Gen V is that it is so firmly entrenched in The Boys universe, it feels like a natural story that would actually occur in this shared universe. So the season was quite a pleasant surprise for me, as I was impressed with how the show was written in a way that tied in very naturally to the main show. There obviously was more focus put onto the teen show in terms of romance storylines and common tropes like teenage angst, anxiety, and similar issues covered in these types of shows. That being said, the main characters that we follow, like Marie Moreau, Andre, Cate, Jordan, and Emma, are well established, characterized distinctly, and have relatively grounded and reasonable storylines. Speaking of the main characters, one thing I loved about the character writing of these kids is that the trauma that accompanies them is also often the reason why they're so idolized and accepted into the society that they inhabit. Marie, who murdered her parents with her powers, uses it on the regular and tries to improve her power to make sure that she can become a hero. To access a power that killed her family, she must cut herself and self-harm to gain power. Bit of an on-the-nose metaphor, but she opens up the same wound over and over to fight again and gain the answers that she seeks to find. Jordan Lee, a non-binary person who can change their genders and gains different powers and abilities by switching between them, has parents who pressure them into staying as a male instead of accepting them as a whole person. And of course, we have Emma, who controls her power by throwing up and eating. To be a part of Godolkin, and for the sake of their careers, these children participate in the world of eating disorders, self-harm, gender identity struggles, etc. Tying the root of their trauma into the one thing that gives these characters their purpose and validation in the world is a great way of incorporating the psyche of being a superpowered individual in this universe. And by having these kids be university kids, it's a great way to send the message even more clearly, as kids will always be an easier way to show overt feelings and angst, especially in a world that they themselves are not fully exposed to. Now before we pivot into Godolkin University as a setting, let me just talk about how literally 1% of the people who watch my videos are subscribed to me right now. See that big red button down below? Tap that, subscribe bro, come on, get me to 200 subs. The strong choice of setting up Godolkin University itself as a mystery was a very big gamble on the part of the show, which paid off in spades. Having the glitzy college lifestyle that Godolkin portrays tied to a gritty underground experiment lab was a very good way to build up tension for the audience, as they witness these kids go deeper and deeper and finding themselves in more and more trouble episode by episode. Having these naive kids experience firsthand the brutality of the world that they live in is a great move, showing firsthand how traumatizing and polarizing it can be for a superpowered individual to find out about the real secrets of this university. Cate, on the other hand, is a character which I have a lot of thoughts on. From the start of the show, Cate was a solid character who fit in well with the cast and helped them all in solving the mystery. However, as the show progressed, we see some great writing and also some pretty weird retcons and out of character actions that make you question the early part of the show. Now in my opinion, I did love the slow descent into absolute madness that her character takes. The reveal that she had been doing so much work for Shetty all along was really well done, especially the 5th episode, where we take a deep dive into her mind. Now, what I do find weird was that if she was working for Shetty all along, and she could wipe memories pretty easily, why did she allow all the actions that the group takes in the first 2 episodes in the first place? She could have just wiped their minds off the get-go, so they wouldn't have taken it that far where she had to reveal it to them anyway. She knew everything all along, but she chooses to play along until they catch her, where out of guilt, she ends up murdering Shetty as she, quote-unquote, comes to her senses in her mind and achieves clarity for her perspectives, which is that supes should prioritize themselves. Now, granted, I could just be misremembering with Cate, as I did watch the show week to week, but I also didn't really enjoy the catalyst that made Sam into the emotionless Terminator of sorts at the end of the season. I always suspected that he would end up this way by the end of the season, as it was and has been building up since the start of the show, but I hated the fact that one superhero hangout and one rally made Sam absolutely lose his shit. From a narrative perspective, it makes sense that a person as unstable as Sam is easily influenced by the people around him. But are you really telling me that one soup rally made him lose his whole connection with Emma, which he built over the whole season, and then proceed to annihilate his conscience by letting Cate wipe his emotions? Emma had been his absolute rock this season, helping him keep it together at times. But yeah, one rally and it's all wiped. It makes sense narratively with someone as unstable as him, but I just did not enjoy the execution that the show did for his character. Indira Shetty is both one of the best parts of the show and yet also one of the most confusing. Shetty is the one running the woods and also communicating with Vought. When we first see her character introduced at the start of the show, she's one of the most mysterious and interesting individuals, having so much control and knowledge over the activities in the woods. We witness her slowly influencing and manipulating the kids that we follow, with her being the simple mother figure for Marie, something that she craved for a very long time. She's shown to be a puppet of Vought, tasked with monitoring and helping in the creation of a virus to control supes. But behind their backs, she is the one influencing the creation of this virus into a virus that will kill supes altogether. We get to know that her reasoning is from that one plane that Homelander brings down in season 1, and that she is doing this as a ploy to kill them all for revenge. While the mystery and the intrigue of her character was the thing that made me enjoy her performance, once I found out that she was just doing this as a revenge plot, I felt like this was some squandered potential on the show writer's part. Her acting performance, however, is very well done, and it helps keep her mystique, which was the best aspect of her character. Having her motivation to kill the supes being so one note and predictable made me kind of disappointed in how her story plays out. Her acting performance, however, is very well done, and it helps keep her mystique, which was the best aspect of her character. Now, before I go, I would like to say I enjoyed the show a lot. It was a thrilling watch week to week, but I won't lie about the acting because some of the kids certainly need to improve their performances next season. It ruined some episodes and moments for me, as I couldn't really take the acting seriously, either from it feeling too disingenuous or just not being acted out at the level which it needed to be. It just took me out of the moment sometimes. Now, I don't want to name any of the actors or bring hate because I do not want to incite any hate for them, as you know, they've done really well for this project. But of course, I would like to say that the acting can be improved at times, for sure. But of course, we get the GOAT himself back for the final moments of the show. Homelander brings his A game and lands a stellar performance to round out the season. He continues his tirade and his newfound grip on the media and obliterates our supes. We find them in a white box at the end of the season with more questions than ever. In my opinion, they're in the 7th tower. We also have the huge looming plot point of Victoria Newman and the fact that she now has possession of the virus, and that is definitely something that will be explored in the next season of The Boys. The fact that her power is really similar to Marie and her revealing this to her is also got huge implications in the next season, and I look forward to what she is plotting. Overall, I'm really looking forward to the next season of The Boys and the following season of Gen V. There were a lot of great moments and really well thought out plot points, but there were also quite a lot of pitfalls here and there, and some parts that could have been a 10 ended up at a 7. Not to say that it was any bad though, as I really feel like this is one of the best spin-off media we have out there in the last few years. If anything, I want more of both The Boys and our gang in Gen V as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm finally back after a bit of a break, and I'm hoping to keep the streak going now as I plan to make a lot more videos for you guys over the coming period. Like and subscribe. See you guys in a bit. Take care and peace.